adopters are really important when trying to introduce a new product to a new market, because they are the people who like really show that the product is safe to use, and they build trust. They also can show people what it's like and be like, this is what it's like, and if you are interested or this looks appealing to you, then you should join us too. And I do think that this is applicable to solar power vehicles. That being said, I do think that it's going to be a much longer process on solar power vehicles, because um, it takes a long time for people to feel that cars are trustworthy. Like, Teslas are getting a reputation of not being trustworthy because they don't um, last a long time. And that's only being established in more recent years. Like, Teslas are getting a reputation of being less trustworthy, and that's only been established in more recent years, because it takes time to discover that people don't really like what these cars do long term. If manufacturers of solar cars were hoping to get people to adopt their cars, I think that there are a couple of really big things that they could do if they wanted to appeal to the market. I think a big thing is reduce cost, make it as cheap as possible to buy these cars when you start out, so that people can grow, or people can learn to trust them pretty quickly. And then have a lot of options of different cars, like trucks, minivans, sedans, SUVs, and like all these different options, so that any person, whether they have like a large family or if it's just themselves, could use these vehicles. And then I think like I said with the previous thing about Tesla, I think it's really important that they prove that these cars can work for a long time. And I know that some of that just takes time for them to be out in the market, but I think it's like, make sure that the founder has one of these cars and is using it and is publicly like, this is what it's like, and this is how I'm maintaining it for the best results. I think it's important that these cars won't become immediately obsolete with like software updates and stuff like that. And it's hard with these like technologically advanced cars when companies are like, oh, actually we're gonna make your software no longer work, because that wasn't an issue with cars from like 1990s. I think people want to be eco-friendly. There's like a statistic out there about like people would go out of their way for like a minor inconvenience if it made the world a better place or whatever. I'll find it. But electric cars, especially now, aren't that eco-friendly because the batteries take a lot out of the environment. I mean, the lithium mining is completely unethical, and especially in gold mining that a lot of the data chips are made with. It's just like, it's not better for the global environment right now, so nobody really is moving towards these options, because it's worse. I think that traditional electric vehicles are a lot simpler than solar powered electric vehicles. Obviously, it's just like a battery that you charge, like a huge battery that charges and then moves your vehicle. But on top of that, you also don't have to find a place for solar panels on the car, which is obviously gonna complicate things. And then like, if you live in a sunny area, what's the option with that for solar power? Um, but then again, in theory, solar power would make it, you wouldn't have to take energy from the grid, which is often powered by methane, which is a greenhouse gas, which isn't very good for the environment. So like, every single eco option that is presented to us as consumers is somehow still not good. And I think that it is going to take a lot of time and effort for these companies to put in for us to really want to pursue buying these, us as in like general consumers. I mean, I think they're cool. I think that there's virtue in a lot of them. It's just like, I think that the people being paid really poorly in like African countries to do all the mining for the materials and stuff, it's not Like, that's not much better than the greenhouse emissions that like normal cars use. And like, that's not even talking about how normal gas cars also have these issues with how they get their materials. But it's like, no matter what option you pick, you're picking a bad choice. It's relatively unfortunate, I feel, but I hope that eventually in the future we can figure out a solution that works for as many people as possible. Maybe the correct solution is a Flintstones car where everybody just like patters with their feet. There'd be less accidents.